Good morning, everyone. I'm Kazim Sayed, and I welcome you all on behalf of the eStudy Box. Today's webinar is about exploring sustainable development goals with emphasis on the environmental pillars. Today's webinar is arranged by the Faculty of Civil and Environmental Engineering, Near East University, the Environment, Energy and Water Resource Center, Union of Engineers and Architects of Turkic World, and Gunyali Alokai Municipality. Thank you very much for joining us today. To start with, I would like to invite our distinguished first speakers, Professor Dr. Hussein Guchkus and Professor Yusuf Kasim. I'd like to introduce Professor Dr. Hussein Guchkus first. Professor Dr. Hussein Guchkus completed his undergraduate studies in geological engineering at Ankara University in 1982. He started a master's degree at Ankara University at the same year. After finishing his course, he completed his thesis in hydrogeology under the supervision of Professor Dr. Vedat Duyurun from Middle East Technical University in 1984. He worked as a research assistant in the Geological Engineering Department, MITU, Ankara between 1983 and 1990. In 1990, he completed his thesis titled Hydrogeological and Hydrochemical Evaluation of the Guzelut Groundwater Basin, Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, and obtained his PhD degree in hydrogeology at MITU. Throughout his career, he has made various academic achievements at Near East University. He was appointed as General Coordinator of Water in TRNC, Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources Project, Water Transform from Turkey to TRNC Project. He has organized many national and international symposiums and conferences. He is also an editor and member of editorial boards of several international journals. Among his accomplishments, he has received numerous awards, including Near East University Scientific Research Award 2009, 2010, 2018, 2020, and 2021. NEU Scientific Research Award 2019, among others. His research areas are related to water resources, climate change, sustainability, smart cities, and clean energy.
Good morning. I would like to say welcome you all to our webinar, Exploring Sustainable Development Goals with an emphasis on the environmental pillar. Today, we will talk about the environmental pillar together with my colleagues. SDG 6 prepared by me and my colleague, and SDG 13 Professor Wahid Nurani, SDG 7 Associate Prof. Dr. Yusuf Kasim, SDG 14 Dr. Selin Delici-Irmak, SDG 15 Dr. Kurtan Koritürk, and finally SDG 12 Farhat Baluri. My presentation name is Harnessing Floating Photovoltaic Systems for Achieving Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 6 and SDG 7. This presentation prepared by me and my dear colleague, Associate Prof. Dr. Yusuf Kasim. This is our content. I am planning to make a simple introduction, Sustainable Development Goals 6, Sustainable Development 7, and I will continuing floating photovoltaic systems, advantage of floating photovoltaic system, integrating SDG 6 and SDG 7 with floating photovoltaic system, synergetic benefits of floating photovoltaic system for SDG 6, synergetic benefits of floating photovoltaic system for SDG 7. And I'm planning to give some case studies and real-world applications. And finally, I will complete my presentation together with my conclusion. Let's start with introduction. Carbon emissions and the global need for energy are rising, leading to significant environmental degradation. Sustainable Development Goals 6, SDG 6, and 7, SDG 7, aim to combat this ecological deterioration by ensuring access to clean water and sanitation and affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. In response to these pressing challenges, researchers are actively exploring alternative sources of renewable energy to replace fossil fuel-based generation systems. One promising solution is the integration of floating photovoltaic systems, which not only harness solar energy, but also optimize water resources. Solar-powered photovoltaic systems play a critical role in achieving sustainable energy solutions for global growth. In general, traditional photovoltaic systems are typically installed on land or rooftops. To address land scarcity, researchers propose installing solar-powered plants on artificial water bodies known as floating photovoltaic systems. Floating photovoltaic increases solar panel power production throughout sunlight reflection and also conserves water and improves water quality. Sustainable Development Goal 6, clean water and sanitation. Sustainable Development Goal 6, SDG 6, aims to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Water is a vital resource that underpins health, agriculture, and economic development. Despite its importance, billions of people worldwide still lack access to safe drinking water and adequate sanitation facilities, leading to health risks and economic challenges. SDG 6 is crucial for several reasons. First, access to clean water and sanitation is a fundamental human right. It directly impacts public health. Inadequate sanitation and contaminated water source contribute to the spread of disease such as cholera and dysentery. Second, water is essential for food production, energy generation, and industrial processes, making it central to achieving other sustainable development goals. The targets under SDG 6 focus on various aspects of water management and sanitation. These include ensuring universal access to safe and affordable drinking water, improving water quality by reducing pollution and promoting sustainable water use. Additionally, SDG 6 emphasizes the importance of protecting and restoring water-related ecosystems, such as rivers, wetlands, and lakes, which are critical for maintaining biodiversity and mitigating climate change. By achieving SDG 6, countries can enhance the well-being of their populations, promote economic growth, and contribute to environmental sustainability. Addressing water and sanitation challenges is not only vital for individual health, but also essential for global progress toward a more equitable and sustainable future. Sustainable Development Goal 7, affordable and clean energy. Sustainable Development Goal 7, SDG 7, aims to ensure access to affordable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Energy is a fundamental driver of economic growth, social development, and environmental sustainability. However, billions of people worldwide still lack access to electricity and clean cooking solutions, hindering their potential and quality of life. SDG 7 is critical for several reasons. First, energy access is essential for improving health, education, and economic opportunities. Reliable energy sources facilitate medical services, educational tools, and job creation, particularly in developing regions. Second, the transition to sustainable energy systems is crucial for combating climate change, as the energy sector is a major contributor to global greenhouse gas emissions. The targets under SDG 7 focus on increasing the share of renewable energy in the global energy mix, ensuring universal access to electricity and promoting energy efficiency. Additionally, it emphasizes the importance of international cooperation to facilitate access to clean energy, research, and technology. Achieving SDG 7 will not only enhance the quality of life for millions, but also promote sustainable development by reducing reliance on fossil fuels and mitigating environmental degradation. By fostering innovation and investment in renewable energy technologies, countries can create resilient energy systems that support economic growth while protecting the planet. Ultimately, SDG 7 is essential for building a sustainable future where everyone can access the energy need to thrive. Floating photovoltaic systems. Due to decrease in the cost of producing photovoltaic modules, solar energy has grown dramatically over the last decade. Photovoltaic modules are now being installed directly on water-using floating photovoltaic system, a developing application compared to the conventional rooftop and ground-mounted alternatives. Floating photovoltaic systems are solar panel installations that are mounted on floating structures on water bodies such as lakes, reservoirs, or oceans. This innovative technology utilizes the surface area of water to generate solar energy while minimize land use. The major components of floating photovoltaic system consist of essentially photovoltaic panels with their supporting electrical components and body construction that involves float mooring systems, waterproof materials, and buoyant force. PV panels typically stand on an array of connected floats that are moored and fastened. These floats are usually made of lightweight materials such as polyethylene, mostly high-density polyethylene, hydroelastic membranes, polystyrene, foam, cement, or fiber-reinforced plastics with aluminum or steel roughs. Meanwhile, electrical wires wrapped in thermoset, rubber or polyurethane are commonly employed in floating FPV because of their water resistance. Rubber matting protects the structure in the end. Furthermore, concrete block anchors were placed on the bottom of the water body and connected to the areas surrounding the photovoltaic array by mooring lines. This is a typical standalone floating photovoltaic system. You can see here anchoring, mooring lines, and lightning protection system, floats or fountains, and connection to other floating solar PV arrays, inverter, floating or shore-based, combiner box, and underwater cable, and transformer and transmission parts of this system. Let's look at the advantages of floating photovoltaic system. Land conservation. Floating photovoltaic systems make efficient use of water bodies, reducing competition for land resources that can be used for agriculture or natural habitats. Increase efficiency. The cooling effect of water can enhance the performance of solar panels, leading to higher energy generation compared to land-based installations. Reduced evaporation. By covering the water surface, floating photovoltaic systems can significantly reduce evaporation rates, helping to conserve water in regions facing scarcity. Improve water quality. Floating photovoltaic system can inhibit algae growth by shading the water, contributing to better water quality and supporting local ecosystems. Energy access. Floating photovoltaic system can be deployed in remote or undeserved areas where land-based solar installations might be challenging, providing clean energy solutions to communities in need. Climate resilience. Integrating floating photovoltaic system can bolster and water security, particularly in regions vulnerable to climate change impacts. Integrating SDG 6 and SDG 7 with floating photovoltaic system. Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs 6 and 7, focus on ensuring clean water and sanitation and providing affordable and clean energy for all, respectively. In countries grappling with water and electricity crisis, the integration of floating photovoltaic system offers a unique and effective solution that addresses both challenges simultaneously. The integration of Sustainable Development Goals 6, SDG 6, and 7, SDG 7, through floating photovoltaic system presents a powerful solution for countries grappling with both water and electricity crisis. These regions often face significant challenges, such as limited access to clean water and unreliable energy sources, which hinder socioeconomic development and exacerbate environmental degradation. Many regions around the world face severe water scarcity and inadequate access to reliable energy. According to the United Nations, about 2 billion people currently live in water-stressed countries, and nearly 800 million lack access to electricity. This dual crisis exacerbates poverty, impacts health, and stifles economic development. The need for innovative solutions that can simultaneously address these interconnected issues is more critical than ever. Floating photovoltaic systems are solar panel installations that float on the surface of water bodies such as lakes, reservoirs, and coastal areas. This system uses buoyant platforms to support solar panels, allowing them to compute sunlight while minimizing land use. By generating electricity directly from the water's surface, floating photovoltaic systems offer a sustainable alternative to traditional land-based solar installations. Synergistic benefits of floating photovoltaic systems for SDG 6. Evaporation reduction. In arid and semi-arid regions, evaporation can lead to significant water loss. Floating solar panels provide shade over water bodies, thereby reducing evaporation rates and helping to conserve precious water resources. Water quality improvement. By shading the water surface, floating photovoltaic systems can inhibit algae growth, which is often accelerated by sunlight. Improved water quality is crucial for drinking, irrigation, and aquatic ecosystems, contributing to the goals of SDG 6. Resources management. Floating photovoltaic systems can be deployed on existing water bodies, such as reservoirs and irrigation channels, optimizing resource use without the need for additional land. This is particularly important in countries where agricultural land is limited. Synergistic benefits of floating photovoltaic system for SDG 7. Energy access. Floating photovoltaic systems can be strategically installed in remote or undeserved communities where land-based solar installations might not be feasible. This provides essential electricity access to populations that lack reliable energy sources. Renewable energy generation. By harnessing solar energy, floating photovoltaic system reduce reliance on fossil fuels, contributing to a cleaner energy mix. This transition is crucial for mitigating climate change and its impacts on water and energy resources. Economic development. The availability of clean energy can spur local economic growth by supporting businesses, enhancing agricultural productivity throughout better irrigation systems, and improving health services. Now, let's say something about the case studies and real-world applications. We select India, Japan, and China Countries facing acute water and electricity crises are increasingly turning to floating photovoltaic systems as part of their energy and resources management strategies. India, in response to severe water scarcity and energy needs, India has begun implementing floating photovoltaic systems on large reservoirs. These projects not only provide clean energy, but also helping mitigate evaporation, preserving valuable water resources for agriculture and drinking. The second example, case study, Japan. Japan, after the Fukushima disaster, everybody knows, remember, Japan shifted its energy strategy to include renewable source. Floating photovoltaic installations have been deployed on irrigation ponds, offering an effective solution for energy generation while supporting agricultural practices. The last case study, China. China, as a leader in floating photovoltaic technology, China has launched numerous floating solar projects on its vast water surfaces. These initiatives have enhanced energy access for rural communities while reducing the environmental impact of energy production. Now, let's make a conclusion. The integration of floating photovoltaic systems with SDGs 6 and 7 present a transformative opportunities for countries facing simultaneous water and electricity crises. Floating photovoltaic systems represent a sustainable and innovative approach to harnessing solar energy while addressing water resource challenges. Their ability to generate clean energy without occupying valuable land makes them an attractive solution for countries facing both water and energy crises. By harnessing the dual benefits of renewable energy generation and water conservation, floating photovoltaic technology not only addresses immediate resource challenges, but also contributes to long-term sustainability and resilience. As nations seek innovative solutions to complex environmental issues, floating photovoltaic systems stand out as a viable path toward a cleaner, more sustainable future. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Hussain Guchkus and Professor Dr. Yusuf Qasim. Now I'd like to invite our next speaker. Our next speaker is Professor Dr. Wahid Noorani. Professor Wahid Noorani received his BSc and MSc degree in civil engineering from University of Tabriz, Iran in 1998 and 2000, respectively. Then he continued his graduate studies in civil and environmental engineering in the field of hydrology at Shiraz University, Iran, and Tohoku University, Japan, and graduated in 2005. Professor Noorani served at the Faculty of Civil Engineering, University of Tabriz, as an assistant professor from 2005 and 2009. As an associate professor from 2009 to 2014, as a professor from 2014, and with the Department of Civil Engineering, University of Minnesota, USA, as a visiting associate professor, and has been an adjunct professor with Near East University since 2017. His research interests include rainfall runoff modeling, artificial intelligence applications in water resource engineering, hydroinformatics, and computational hydraulics. He's currently editor-in-chief for the Journal of Civil Environmental Engineering, Tabriz University, associate editor for the Journal of Hydrology, and director of Excellence Center in Hydroinformatics at Tabriz University.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my presentation. I'm Professor Wahid Noorani from University of Tabriz, and thanks to Professor Gökçekuş to invite me to have such a presentation. My lecture is about enhancement of the artificial intelligence-based wastewater treatment plant monitoring via data pre-post processing techniques. As you know, in order to have green environment, it is needed we have smart city and smart urbanized area. And definitely smart water is a very important component of such a smart city. And wastewater treatment plants are a very important parts for such smart water. And to have much better operation of such wastewater treatment plant, artificial intelligence can be used for better prediction of the process performance instead of having redundant tests. Here in this slide, you can see some research already applied artificial intelligence for wastewater treatment plant monitoring. And in this study, considering Tabriz City wastewater treatment plant as the case study, we applied two different data pre and post processing. Actually, model ensemble as the data post processing and data jittering for the pre processing. In the ensemble, one of the major development in neural network over the last decade is the model combining or ensemble. In this case, uncertainty of prediction can be handled by considering the outputs from different individual models. Most often, the models in the ensemble are trained individually, and then their outputs are combined in order to have final unique outcomes. But on the other hand, in the G-training as a data pre-processing, we usually enlarge the training samples. You know, in training phase of an artificial intelligence model, the training data set includes sometimes a limited sample of the data. So a set of selected data cannot reflect all possible patterns of the process. In this case, if we jitter the data and enlarge the sample size of the training data, it is expected that the training of the artificial intelligence will be enhanced. So as I said, you can see in this slide the schematic of our proposed methodology in order to enhance the wastewater treatment plant monitoring. You see, at the first step, we gather the data for Tabriz wastewater treatment plant. Then we extract the dominant inputs to be used as a inputs of the models. At the next step, and as data pre-processing, we apply two data pre-processing schemes. The first, data normalizing, and the second, data jittering in order to enlarge the training sample. And finally, the modeling by several individual artificial intelligence. And at the last, the outputs of these individual artificial intelligence models are assembled in order to arrange and in order to find the final outputs for our modeling. Here you can see the proposed methodology. We obeyed and we considered two different strategies. At the first strategy, as you see, we did not apply the G-training. We just imposed the data into 4 individual models, 3 artificial intelligence-based models, and another as ARIMA model, which is a linear classic time series modeling. But then, after getting the outputs from these 4 individual models, via ensemble unit, we merge the outputs of the model in order to find the BOD and COD of effluent as the target. But in the second strategy, at the first step, we did data pre-processing by jittering of the data in order to enlarge the training data size. And then we just consider two artificial intelligence-based models for the ensemble. Actually, in the first strategy, we saw that FFN and support vector recreation are the best models. And so in this second strategy, we ignored ANFIS and ARIMA. Here you can see some characteristics about the applied artificial intelligence model. ANN is the most commonly used artificial intelligence. ANFIS is capable of handling uncertainty due to the fuzzy, and SVR has a very important and attractive characteristics. In SVR, we consider operational risk as the loss function, and we try to minimize operational risk instead of root mean square error and determination coefficient, or some such criteria that we usually use in artificial intelligence based modeling. Here you can see the three strategy we consider for ensemble unit. The first strategy just consider the simple averaging of the outputs. In the second, we consider weighted averaging for the ensembling. But at the third strategy, we consider neural ensemble as a nonlinear ensemble in order to combine an ensemble of outputs from four distinct models. We consider determination coefficient as our efficiency criteria, especially in the weighted average ensemble method. And as I already said, we applied the proposed methodology for wastewater treatment plants of Tabriz city. Here you can see the position of the wastewater treatment plant of the Tabriz city. Here you can see some components, some slides from some components of this wastewater treatment plant. Actually, this plant is operated according to the activated sludge process. Here you can see some photo, and this is, as example, daily BOD at the effluent of the planet. Brief statistical analysis we applied before modeling. You can see the correlation coefficient between effluent BOD and COD and influent parameters, as well as a Markovian and autoregressive process, the correlation between BOD and COD at effluent at time t with BOD and COD at effluent at time t minus 1. You can see that there is almost good linear correlation coefficient between BOD and COD at each time step with the parameters at the previous time step. Here you can see autocorrelation function in order to see why the first leg of the parameters are the important and dominant leg for considering to be used in the modeling. And finally, here you can see the obtained results. At the first step, we did modeling by individual artificial intelligence models of FFNN, ANFIS, SVR, and classic linear model of ARIMA method. You can see that the ARIMA model as a linear model could not lead to appropriate outcomes. Here you can see the outputs of the individual models for two details of time series. You can see that different models could lead to different outputs. It means that there isn't any unique methodology to handle the overall pattern of the time series. So this actually suggests that it is good we assemble the results of different models in order to have more accurate outputs. Here in this table you can see the outputs for ensemble results. According to the outputs, you can see among three applied ensemble strategy, a neural nonlinear ensemble strategy could lead to much better outcomes. And here you can see the scatter plot for the daily BOD and daily COD at effluent obtained by the ensembling. But at the next step and at the next strategy, we also did the jittering data in order to enlarge the training samples. For this purpose, we consider normal distribution for the observed time, and then considering different standard deviation, we generate for the jittering, we consider 4 different standard deviation via normal distribution in order to generate different patterns to be jittered to our original time series, to have more samples for training of our artificial intelligence models. Here you can see the obtained results when we apply jitter data for training. You can see when we consider the jittering data with standard deviation of 0.01, actually the results got the best with regard to other jitter data. And then we consider both ensemble and jittering strategy. Here you can see after jittering of the data, we did training with different artificial intelligence, and then we ensemble and merge the outputs from different artificial intelligence, and here you can see the obtained results. And this is the last comparison table in order to compare the obtained results. As you can see, when we used ensemble jittering strategy, the outputs were much better than when we only considered the individual models, or when we consider only ensemble of the models, or when we consider only jitter data for the training. But as the conclusion, we can say that the use of nonlinear neural ensemble models, especially when we also use jitter data, could enhance the modeling accuracy. Employing model ensemble, and in particular nonlinear ensemble by neural network, enhance the daily BOD and COD of a fluent modeling accuracy up to 30 and 15 validation step. And application of both jittering and ensemble approach could enhance the accuracy of daily BOD and COD modeling up to 20 and 60 in the validation step. And as a suggestion for future study, it's recommended to use other artificial intelligence-based model for wastewater treatment plant monitoring. In this study, we only consider BOD and COD at the effluent. It's suggested to consider other physical and chemical parameters of the wastewater treatment plant, for example, TSS, as the modeling target. And most importantly, we can use artificial intelligence as an inverse problem solution for system identification and for fault detection in the wastewater treatment planet. It means when one part of the planet collapses and does not work and operate accurately, using such inverse problem, we can detect the problem position and magnitude. We could publish the output of this study in a very good Journal of Clinical Production, and hope the presentation was useful for you. Thank you for your attention.
I would like to introduce our next speaker. Dr. Selin Deliceirmak was born on February 12 in 1984 in Istanbul. While continuing her university education at Hacettepe University in the Department of Biology, she developed an interest in marine research after joining a diving club. After completing her university education, she decided to pursue research after working with non-governmental organizations and in the private sector. She completed her master's degree at METU Earth System Science Department and later received her PhD at METU Institute of Marine Science. She continues her work in the field of marine microbiology and gained a deeper understanding of the oceans where life began. Her research focused on the roles of microorganisms in nitrogen and phosphorus cycles in the seas, the effect of climate change on marine ecosystem, and the biotechnological use of marine resources. She continues her work as an assistant professor in the Faculty of Arts and Science, Department of Molecular Biology and Genetics. Additionally, she is the chairperson of the Molecular Ecology Research Center, aiming to contribute to marine ecosystem studies.
Hello, I am Selin Delici-Ermak, and I would like to talk about Sustainable Development Goal 14, Life Below Water. First, I would like to mention historical background of Sustainable Development Goals and then move on to SDG 14, targets and indicators. And at the end, I will have my concluding remarks. The concept of sustainable development originated in response to environmental concerns and first mentioned in the World Charter for Nature. Then these concerns were later addressed in the influential report or common feature in 1987, and this highlighted the need for global sustainability. The ideas were further expanded in Agenda 21, and it was a comprehensive plan consisting of 40 chapters presented at the Earth Summit in 1992. And this is laying the groundwork for modern environmental policies. From the early development of the sustainable development concept, it has been clear that quantitative indicators would be crucial. Agenda 21 emphasized the need for indicators to measure progress towards sustainability. Since then, numerous indicators, indices, and dashboards have been developed by national and international bodies. Despite significant efforts such as the European Commission's Beyond Gross Domestic Product and the OECD's Measuring Progress of Societies, there remains no consensus on measuring well-being and sustainability. Indicator-based approaches have been central to global assessments of progress toward Millennium Development Goals plus Sustainable Development Goals. The Sustainable Development Goals replaced the earlier Millennium Development Goals, and which were in place from 2000 to 2015, and they represent a more comprehensive and interconnected approach to global development. The Sustainable Development Goals were set by the United Nations, and they were adopted by all UN member states during the United Nations General Assembly in 2015 as part of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And this agenda is a global plan to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030. There are, as you see from the picture, 17 Sustainable Development Goals covering a wide range of issues, including poverty, hunger, health, education, gender equity, clean water and energy, climate action, and the preservation of ecosystems like oceans and forests. One of the crucial sustainable development goals that aims the preservation ecosystem is SDG 14, Life Below Water. And SDG 14 consists of 7 targets and 3 sub-targets. This sustainable development goal was championed by Pacific small island developing states whose livelihood, economy, and culture are closely linked with the health of the oceans. And oceans possess 97% of the water found on Earth. And if we consider life evolved in the oceans and they shape the environmental conditions we thrive and we depend on. In addition, oceans support the global population with food and livelihoods. So overexploitation of goods and destruction of natural systems are now threatening the sustainability of economic growth and the health of the marine ecosystems, which requires holistic management strategies, especially under the global problem of climate change. Among various geographies, islands are more prone to climate change, natural disasters, and human perturbations. This island we inhabit not only challenged by the environmental issues that requires urgent measures, but also Cyprus politics. If we have a look at the aim of the SDG 14, Life Below Water, it is to conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. In the figure shown here, Goal 14 is among the SDGs which are least on target. So according to the Progress Toward the Sustainable Development Goals report of the Secretary General, alarming trends from declining fish stocks, marine pollution, ocean acidification, and habitat destruction threaten marine ecosystems and the livelihoods of coastal communities worldwide. Urgent action is needed to address these challenges and ensure the long-term health and the sustainability of the ocean through sustainable fishing practices, marine conservation efforts, pollution reduction, and global cooperation to safeguard marine life and ecosystems for future generations. So let's have a look at each target for life below water and global indicators. I would like to also add my personal comments on the situations in Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. So, target 14.1 aims reducing marine pollution by 2025 and prevent and significantly reduce marine pollution of all kinds, in particular from land-based activities. This including marine debris and nutrient pollution. Among the land-based threats, most probably, touristic activities are causing most of the pollution in TRNC. To monitor these conditions, indicators that are the index of coastal eutrophication and the density of floating plastic debris should be used. Target 14.2 is about protecting and restoring the ecosystems, and proportion of national exclusive economic zones managed using ecosystem-based approaches are used as an indicator. Ecosystem-based approaches require the knowledge of the ecosystem in question and how far we know our marine and coastal ecosystems is a big question for Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. Another target is 14.3, which is reducing ocean acidification. So briefly, ocean acidification refers to the decrease in pH levels of the Earth's oceans due to the absorption of excess carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. This process disrupts marine ecosystems, particularly affecting organisms like corals, shellfish, and plankton, which rely on calcium carbonate to build their shells and skeletons. As acidification progresses, these species struggle to survive, threatening the biodiversity and balance of marine life and impacting human industries like fisheries. Indicator for this target is the measurement of average marine acidity at agreed suite of representative sampling stations. So, monitoring the sea is an important part to measure the acidity level, and Kyrenia time series station and the data collected from these stations can provide information about the health of the sea in the TRNC. Target 14.4 is about sustainable fishing, and the indicator is the proportion of fish stocks within biologically sustainable levels. Target 14.5 is the conservation of coastal and marine areas. Conserve at least 10% of coastal and marine areas consistent with national and international law and based on the best available scientific information. Coverage of protected areas in relation to marine areas is the main indicator for this target. Presence of coastal protected areas in the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus brings hope for protecting also marine ecosystems and supports this target. On the other hand, Target 14.6 is specifically important to follow for the countries where fishing sector is actually waste. Progress by countries in the degree of implementation of international instruments aiming to combat illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing is the main indicator for this target. So, Target 14.7 is aiming by 2030, increasing the economic benefits to small island developing states and least developed countries from the sustainable use of marine resources, including through sustainable management of fisheries, aquaculture, and tourism. Increase scientific knowledge, develop research capacity, and transfer marine technology in order to improve ocean health and to enhance the contribution of marine biodiversity is other target for Sustainable Development Goal 14. So, here are the last two targets I want to mention. Target 14.9 is on supporting small-scale fishers. This target should be implemented specifically in Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, where small-scale fishery is common in the island. And the next target requires the implementation and enforcement of international sea law. And the global indicator for this target is proportion of total research budget allocated to research in the field of marine technology. Here I should criticize that apart from the Sustainable Development Goal 14, overall budget allocated to research is far from being enough in this island. On the other hand, there are hopeful initiatives that are trying to support research community, such as the cooperation between the Ministry of National Education and Culture of TRNC and the Scientific and Technological Research Institution of Turkey. So, what will be the cost of achieving Sustainable Development Goal 14? Johnson and Westwick focused in their study on estimating the financial requirements to achieve SDG 14, which aims to protect ocean ecosystem. The paper estimates a significant funding gap with an annual requirement of around $175 billion to implement necessary actions by 2030. I would like to conclude with the strengths and threats of Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus that we identify for the blue growth potential of the island. And this could also reflect our position in respect to meeting SDG 14 targets. As a summary, embargo status of the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus might be the biggest challenge. Pollution, conflicts between different sectors, lack of knowledge, and lack of lack of willing to implement ecosystem-based management and climate change are the main threats to achieve SDG 14. But the existence of higher education institutions and the existence of specially protected areas are our strengths to achieve SDG 14 targets. Indicator-based approaches have been central and required to assessments of progress toward sustainable development goals. Thank you.
I would like to introduce our next speaker. Dr. Kurthan was born in Nicosia in 1995. He completed his high school education at Niaris College. He completed his bachelor degrees at Gazi University, Faculty of Science, Department of Biology, and his MSc and PhD degrees at Niaris University, Department of Environmental Education and Management. In 2019, he started working as a research assistant at the Niaris University Faculty of Civil and Environmental Engineering within the scope of Faculty of Member Training Program. After receiving his PhD degree in 2023, within his thesis titled Climate Crisis, Environmental Security, TRNC, and the Republic of Turkey, he started working as a full-time lecturer at the same faculty. He has been responsible for the construction technology program since 2022. His research topics include environmental awareness, climate crisis awareness, environmental security, and climate security.
Hello everyone, I'm Kurtan Kurtuk from Faculty of Civil and Environmental Engineering. Today I talk about Sustainable Development Goal 15, Life on Land, and some NGO efforts in Northern Cyprus. The presentation will basically proceed in two parts. The first part will briefly discuss life on land and the sub-goals. In the second part, the efforts of some environmental NGOs in Northern Cyprus on SDG 15 and the opinions of some experts will be presented. The 15th Sustainable Development Goal established by the United Nations focuses on life on land and includes the following elements: protecting, restoring, and promoting the sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, ensuring sustainable forest management, combating desertification, halting and reversing land degradation, and preventing biodiversity loss. There are 12 sub-goals in Sustainable Development Goals for life on land. These sub-goals are summarized below. SDG 15.1 includes the protection, rehabilitation, and sustainability of various terrestrial and inland freshwater ecosystems, especially forests, wetlands, mountains, and drylands. 15.2 includes supporting the sustainable management of forests, ending deforestation and increasing afforestation, and rehabilitating forests. 15.3 includes combating desertification, rehabilitating land degraded by factors such as desertification, drought, and floods, and striving for a land degradation neutral planet. 15.4 includes ensuring the protection of mountain ecosystems and biodiversity. 15.5 includes urgent action to reduce the degradation of natural habitats and protecting endangered species and preventing the extinction of species. 15.6 includes promoting access to genetic resources and fair sharing of benefits. 15.7 includes urgent action to prevent the illegal hunting and trafficking of protected flora and fauna species, and addressing the supply and demand issues related to illegal wildlife products. 15.8 includes taking necessary measures to reduce the impacts of invasive species on terrestrial and marine ecosystems and to prevent their spread, and ensuring the control of more threatening and priority invasive species. 15.9 includes integrating the values of ecosystems and biodiversity into national and local planning and decision-making processes. The sub-goals of the Life on Land goal, SDG 15.A, 15.B, and 15.C, focus on financing and promoting the elements expressed in the previous sub-goals. 15.A includes the utilization of existing financial resources for the protection and sustainability of ecosystems and biodiversity, as well as increasing these financial resources. 15.B includes mobilizing financial resources to finance sustainable forest management at all levels and providing incentives for developing countries to develop management approaches that enable them to conserve and restore forests. And 15.C includes enhancing the capacity of local communities to access sustainable livelihoods and providing global support for efforts to combat the illegal hunting and trafficking of protected species. Life on land is vital for sustainable development, as preserving natural resources, maintaining ecosystem health, and ensuring biodiversity sustainability are fundamental to environmental, economic, and social development. The relationship between life on land and climate crisis. Deforestation reduces carbon absorption capacity, leading to increased carbon dioxide levels and thereby exacerbating global warming and intensifying the impacts of climate change. The impact of the climate crisis on habitats results in biodiversity loss, which disrupts ecosystem functioning and ultimately affects the overall health of our planet. Climate crisis-driven desertification and soil degradation reduce agricultural production and threaten food security. Ecosystem degradation worsened by the climate crisis reduces the capacity of natural carbon sinks, accelerating the cycle of climate change. Non-governmental organizations play a key role in implementing Sustainable Development Goal 15 and ensuring sustainable life on land, working in collaboration with governments and other stakeholders. Both locally and globally, they make significant contributions in areas such as biodiversity conservation, sustainable agriculture and forest management, and combating illegal wildlife trade. If we were to briefly summarize the areas in which NGOs contribute to life on land, we could mention elements such as raising awareness and providing education, providing research and scientific data, advocacy for policies, collaborating with local communities, implementing conservation projects and restoration efforts, and engaging in international cooperation. The capacity to act quickly and flexibly, promoting community participation, and the role of oversight against the government and the private sector can be listed as elements that express the importance of the role of civil society with scope of Sustainable Development Goal 15, Life on Land. Part 2. This section highlights some of the work of Tashkent Nature Park, Kuşkor, and the Cyprus Wetland Society, all active in North Cyprus. Additionally, it includes insights from specialist biologists, Assistant Prof. Burak Alişçek and Associate Prof. Nazım Kaşot, who are actively involved in various nature conservation efforts. Tashkent Nature Park was established as a non-profit charitable organization for the benefit of nature, environment, and wildlife, which includes sub-centers and institutions such as Wildlife Hospital, Wildlife Rescue and Rehabilitation Center, Wildlife Shelter, Wildlife Research Institute, Cyprus Marine Life Center, Cyprus Environmental Education Center, Cyprus Seed Bank, etc. Wildlife Rescue and Rehabilitation Center from Tashkent Nature Park. Throughout the year, the center has hosted over 1,000 wild animals, providing treatment and rehabilitation for these wild animals. The figure 1,000 is a significant figure for wildlife hospitals worldwide. Some examples from the center. First one is the Bonelli's eagle was treated and rehabilitated after suffering a wing fracture due to a gunshot wound and was successfully returned to the wild. Second example, a Eurasian honey buzzard, Pernis apivorus, was delivered to the center after being shot. Following treatment and rehabilitation, a GPS transmitter was fitted to the bird before it was released back into the wild. While continuing its migratory route, data was recorded from the transmitter indicating the honey buzzard was in Saudi Arabia. Third and the last example, within the scope of the captive breeding program, 2 chicks are taken from 2 long-legged buzzards, Buteo rufinus, that have been victims of nature terrorists and cannot return to nature, and released into nature every year. Arthropod research. Since 2019, 34 scientific articles related to the subject have been published in international peer-reviewed journals. A total of 24 new Arachnida species have been described and published, including 6 from Cyprus. Cyprus Seed Bank, established in 2022, the aim is to secure the genetic diversity and generations of local plants. Seed collection and preservation operations are carried out, primarily rare and endemic species. To date, heirloom from 61 different vegetables, seeds of 60 local plant species, and 16 of which are endemic have been collected. In total, more than 90,000 seeds have been collected and preserved. Combating wildlife crime. The most common wildlife crime in Cyprus is the hunting of the Eurasian blackcap, Sylvia atricapilla. Known locally as Pulya, this species is protected and hunting it is illegal. It is illegally hunted using mist nets for food. Tashkent Nature Park evaluates the reports received and brings the issue to the authorities and routinely carries out Pulya monitoring activities. I added a note there. During the information gathering from this presentation, the official from Tashkent Nature Park stated that they went to the relevant police department following a report received regarding the Pulya being served at a restaurant. Some information about Pulya hunting. Each year, between 2 to 3 million songbirds are captured with mist nets in Cyprus. The capture of songbirds is very common in almost all countries bordering to Mediterranean. It is reported that more than 1,000 individuals are captured daily in Cyprus. The Karpaz region is known as the region with the highest number of captures on the island. And it is known that a single Eurasian blackcap, Pulya, is sold for €5. Species Conservation Project, Delphium casei. Delphium casei is a Cyprus endemic species that exists in only 2 localities. It was accepted by IUCN as one of the 50 plant species that are extinct in the Mediterranean island in 2017. A total of 2,332 seats have been secured in the seed bank so far. As of 2024, it has been reported that a noticeable increase has been achieved. Habitat restoration, Telsim Ecological Forest Project. Due to the lack of natural regeneration for various reasons in the cypress forest that was previously burned in fire, a number of steps have been taken within the scope of the project. Cypress, olive, myrtle, mastic, and hawthorn species have been planted in the area. In different areas of the site, the following have been installed: insect hotels, bird nests, reptile caves, bee logs, bat boxes, and natural rock water troughs. Sea turtle conservation project. The project started in 2021. The region includes Karşıyaka coast and the entire coastline of Karpaz Peninsula. In 2021, 915 nests. In 2022, 1,703 nests, and in 2023, 1,242 nests of larger-head sea turtles, Caretta caretta, and green sea turtles, Chelonia midas, were protected. Another NGO is Kuşkor, the Society for the Protection of Birds and Nature. Has been active since 1988 and strives to protect birds and their habitats in North Cyprus through education, research, monitoring, and lobbying. Kukla Wetlands Bird Watching Center. In the 2010s, the Mesaria region was highlighted as a natural asset for the first time as part of the project to identify important bird areas. In this context, the Kukla Wetland, Köprülü Pond, in the Western Mesaria region attracted attention. Within the scope of a bicommunal European Union funded project in 2010 and 11 aimed at identifying important bird areas in Cyprus, the ornithological significance of Mesaria was evaluated, and the area including Kukla Pond was recognized as an important bird area by BirdLife International. The area was named Kukla Wetland due to its pond feature and the various marshland areas it contains. The region was protected under the wetlands regulation. A specific salt marsh area was fenced off as part of the project. A partnership was established between NGO, ministry, and municipality as part of the project, and financial support from the European Union enabled the first maintenance work in the area. Campaign to stop turtle dove hunting in North Cyprus. The turtle dove, Streptopelia turtur, is a species featured in local and religious songs. It has also long been hunted as food across wide areas. In the past 30 years, European population has declined by 78% and Russian population by 90%. It is estimated that the global population has decreased by 80% over the past 40 years. In 2016, its global conservation status was raised from least concern to vulnerable, entering the threatened category. The IUCN issued a red alert for the turtle dove. In response, Kuşkor launched a campaign marking the start of the project aimed at banning the hunting of the turtle dove. Returning rollers to Mesaria Plain, roller houses. The European roller, Coracias garrulus, was defined as a near-threatened species by the IUCN until 2015. The European roller is a species that uses the nests of bee-eaters and other birds. However, due to the decline in bee-eater populations, the availability of suitable nests for European rollers has decreased. Although there are adequate food resources in areas where European rollers could nest, the lack of nesting sites has led to the initiation of a project. Within the project scope, roller houses were placed specifically in Haspolat and Balıkesir villages. Ongoing activities include monitoring and maintenance of previously installed nests, as well as ringing and tracking the young. Adoyin's Gul monitoring and conservation in Cyprus. A project ongoing since 2008. Nearly all breeding sites for the species are located in the Mediterranean region. Cyprus hosts the easternmost breeding population known to date. The only consistent breeding site on the island is the Kleides Islands in northern Cyprus. In the past, more than 40 pairs breed there, but the number has steadily decreased, dropping to just 6 pairs in 2015. IUCN Red List has classified it as a vulnerable species. The main threat to the species is human disturbance caused by angling activities. Other threats include competition with the more aggressive yellow-legged gull and the impact of rats damaging eggs. Within the project's framework, unauthorized access to the Kleides Islands was prohibited under local regulations throughout cooperation with the Livestock Department and the Environmental Protection Department. Additionally, 3 warning signs were placed in relevant areas. Ringing and monitoring activities for the species continue as part of the project. Bonelli's Eagle monitoring project in North Cyprus. The Bonelli's eagle, Aquila fasciata, is the last eagle flock in Cyprus. The project includes nest detection and monitoring. In 2010, the species was thought to be extinct in the country. There are currently 17 known nesting sites, and it is thought that there are more. It is estimated that the population in Cyprus is the 4th largest in Europe. As part of the project, a documentary film about the Bonelli's eagle has been accepted for screening at 4 different festivals. Additionally, the film was screened in Nicosia with the participation of various government officials. Kuşkor describes the project as, just as the caretta turtles became the symbol of our coasts, we want Bonelli's eagles to be the symbol of the Beşparmak Mountains. Protecting the eagle means protecting the mountains as well. Kıbrıs Sulak Alan Topluluğu, Cyprus Wetland Community. The Cyprus Wetland Community announced its establishment and goals in the local press on 5th of June 2021, World Environment Day. Among its members are a biologist and birdwatcher with a PhD in environmental education and management, a human geography expert, a historian and a tour guide, a lawyer, and a geological engineer with a PhD. The aim of the community is to raise awareness about wetlands and to draw attention to the condition of wetlands by organizing awareness activities and to deliver reports prepared on the condition of wetlands to the authorities and the local press. For this purpose, they appeared on local radio and television programs 17 times. A bird-themed art exhibition was held in collaboration with Mayfırça Art House. The Famagusta Wetlands Book, prepared with Namık Kemal High School, was introduced. Advisory support was provided in schools as part of the Yeşil Okullar Green School project. Wetland observation trips are organized with 8 to 10 schools every year. A total of 15 observation and presentation events were held with various civil society organizations. 2 presentations were given as part of Famagusta Masters Famagusta Talks. Written opinions were submitted for the Famagusta Yeni Boğaziçi İskele Master Plan. Information notes on Kumyanu Lagoon, Çayırova Marine Wetland, and Deep Karpaz Golden Beach Wetland were sent to the Ministry of Tourism, Environment, Youth, and Sports. In 2033, a bicommunal observation walk was organized at Larnaca Salt Lake. Participation was provided as a community in the 2023 World Water Day panel. 2024 Deep Karpaz Altın Kumsal Management Plant Workshop. 2024 Friends of Earth Fossil Fuels Camp. A cleaning event was organized on the shores of Salamis Seaside, and a written report on the sustainable conservation of Gönendere Pond was submitted to Serdarlı Geçitkale Municipality. As a community, they actively continue to share the status of their wetland walks and bird observations with the public through the local press on important days such as World Environment Day, World Wetlands Day, World Migratory Bird Day, International Day for Biological Diversity, World Bee Day, and World Rivers Day. Observation and bird recording activities continue for the preparation of a status report on the wetlands in northern Cyprus. We have 2 brief expert opinions there. First opinion from Assistant Prof. Burak Ali Çiçek. Burak Ali Çiçek, a faculty member in biological sciences at Eastern Mediterranean University, has been involved in various terrestrial and marine biology studies in northern Cyprus. In the context of life on land, he has participated in Natura 2000 projects and has also worked on habitat maintenance, species habitat distribution, and management plans. Regarding the point at which Cyprus is in relation to life on land, he stated that Cyprus is at a bad point and that climate change will affect Cyprus heavily. When I asked him what needs to be done, he emphasized the necessity of properly protecting existing resources, particularly water and soil resources, as well as biological diversity. He pointed out the importance of being cautious in agricultural practices, mentioning the need to follow new technologies and utilize alternatives such as soil-less farming. Additionally, he highlighted the necessity of working with drought-resistant organisms in agriculture. Second expert opinion from Associate Prof. Dr. Nazım Kaşot. Nazım Kaşot, an expert biologist and environmental education specialist, conducts studies on birdwatching, wildlife corridors, and the distribution of herpetofauna in Cyprus regarding life on land. Regarding the connection between life on land and sustainability, in summary, he stated that life on land is the basis of sustainability, and the absence of life on land would mean that there will be no ecosystem, especially when considered in the context of food chains and ecological niches. Throughout the presentation, an overview of Sustainable Development Goal 15 was provided, highlighting studies conducted on life on land in northern Cyprus. Concrete examples related to SDG 15 were presented throughout these studies to enhance understanding of the topic. Another goal was to reveal the role that the existence and activities of NGOs play in terms of sustainability. Thank you for your listening.
I would like to introduce our next speaker. Ferhat Buluri is currently studying a PhD in civil engineering at Niaris University in the TRNC. In 2022, he was selected as one of 22 fellows among 4,955 candidates in the Annan Fellowship for Climate Action at Annan University. In 2021, he was awarded the first position in the ideation event held by UNEP for climate change. In 2022, he was invited to the SDSN Youth Program Local Pathway Fellowship as one of 100 young people from all over the world. Ferhat is an ambassador for Climate Interactive En-ROADS. He attended the Stockholm More Than 50 conference at the invitation of United Nations and representative of Alpha Zulu advocates. He was recently selected as country director and chief sustainable advocate for Turkey by Alpha Zulu advocates in the UK. His areas of research interest include sustainable development, green campus and grid management systems, thinking and system dynamics, climate change, water resource management, and air pollution. I would like to thank.
Thank you so much for your participation. I want to talk about the SDG 12, responsible consumption and production. Today I want to talk about consumption habits and resource consumptions, waste management and recycling training, environmentally friendly practices of top universities driving sustainable consumption and production in 2024. For this one, firstly, I want to talk about consumption habits and resource consumption. It is stated that today, due to unsustainable consumption and production habits, we have reached a point where our planet will push its limits. And if the global population reaches 9.6 billion people in 2050, 3 more planets like our Earth will be needed to maintain the correct way of life. For this reason, it is of great importance that not only decision makers and producers, but also consumers take responsibility for the efficient and sustainable use of our natural resources and create, encourage, and adopt production and consumption patterns with this understanding. About the SDG 12, responsible consumption and production, and its targets and indicators. Firstly, I want to take a short speech, and after that, I go to my opinions. For the target 2012.1, implement the 10-year framework of programs on sustainable consumption and production patterns, all countries taking action, with developed countries taking the lead, taking into account the development and capabilities of developing countries. The indicator 12.1.1 said number of countries developing, adopting or implementing policy instruments aimed to supporting the shift to sustainable consumption and production. Also, target 12.2 said by 2030 achieve the sustainable management and efficient use of natural resources. Here we have 2 indicators. It's one of them said material footprint, material footprint per capita, and material footprint per GDP. And also the other indicator said domestic material consumption per capita, and domestic material consumption per GDP. About the target 12.3, it said by 2030 per capita global food waste at the retail and consumer levels and reduce food losses along production and supply chains, including post-harvest losses. Indicator 12.3.1 said food loss index and B food waste index. About the target 12.4, it said by 2020 achieve the environmentally sound management of chemical and all waste throughout their life cycle in accordance with agreed international frameworks and sufficiently reduce their release through air, water, and soil in order to minimize their adverse impacts on human health and environment. As you see here is by 2020, and because this SDGs written in 2015, but we must see if they achieve or not. And indicator 12.4.1 said number of parties to international multilateral environmental agreements on hazardous waste and other chemical that meet their commitments and obligations in transmitting information as required by each relevant agreement. 12.4.2, this indicator said hazardous waste generated per capita and proportions of hazardous waste treated by type of treatment. About the target 12.5, we have by 2030 substantially reduce waste generation through prevention, reduction, recycling, and reuse, and indicator 12.5.1 set national recycling rate, tons of materials recycled. Also, in target 12.6, we have encouraged companies, especially large and transnational companies, to adopt sustainable practices and to integrate sustainability information into their reporting cycle. Indicator 12.6.1 set number of companies publishing sustainability reports. In target 12.7, we have promote public procurement practices that are sustainable in accordance with national policies and priorities. And here we have an indicator that it said the number of countries implementing sustainable public procurement policies and action plans. About the target 12.8, we have by 2030 ensured that people everywhere have the relevant information and awareness of sustainable development and lifestyles in harmony with nature. And as the indicator, we have extend to which global citizenship education and 2, education for sustainable development are mainstreamed in 1, the national education policies, B, curricula, and 2, teacher education, and 3, student assessment. About the other ones in this SDG, we have support developing countries to strengthen their scientific and technological capability to move toward more sustainable patterns of consumption and production. As an indicator here, we have installed renewable energy generating capacity in developing countries in watts per capita. Also, we have another one, develop and implement tools to monitor sustainable development impacts for sustainable tourism that creates jobs and promotes local culture and products. And as the 12B1, we have implementation of standard accounting tools to monitor the economic and environmental aspects of tourism sustainability. Here we have 12.3 C. We have rationalized inefficient fossil fuel subsidies that encourage wasteful consumption by removing market distortions in accordance with national circumstances, including by restricting taxation and phasing out those harmful subsidies where they exist to reflect their environmental impacts, taking fully into account the specific needs and conditions of developing countries and minimizing the possible adverse impacts on their development in a manner that protects their poor and affected communities. That we have here amount of fossil fuel subsidies per unit of GDP. Okay, here we have the waste management and recycling training. After we see what is the SDG 12, its indicators, its targets, and the Sustainable Development Goal. Now we are coming to manage it and recycling training. Here we have SDG 12 brings to the agenda the questioning of global trends, not only in terms of responsible production, but also in terms of responsible consumption. By acquiring responsible consumption habits, new consumers influence responsible production. New consumers are choosing products that follow production process that do not create negative effects on the environment and other people. Therefore, new consumers can lead both fair and egalitarian companies regarding the workforce and environmentally friendly production styles. In today's markets, where there is a wide variety of products and a large number of companies, customers have more choices. This leads them to increase the selection criteria. In such a competitive market environment, responsible production continues to attract customers' attention as a criterion to specific needs and expectations of the customer. May include working with companies that have adopted inclusive and responsible production styles such as gender equality, low carbon economy, and green growth. So responsible production and consumption are also important in terms of establishing trust-based relationship with customers, so that the number of long-term customers does not decrease. On the contrary, it increases and new customers are gained. Structures that respect fundamental rights in production and act with environmental awareness can be preferred by customers at various levels and positions, especially in global market and large companies. SDG 12 draws attention to the reflection of sustainable production and consumption understanding in legislation, plans, and programs, strengthening awareness in this direction and creating awareness and behavioral change. Yes, now I come to talk about the top universities, higher education institutes that they did their best in 2024 for SDG 12. For ranking universities about the Sustainable Development Goals and environmentally, we have some rankings, but the best one is Times Higher Education ranking because it's directly focusing on the SDGs, but we have another ones, for example, UI Green Metric in Malaysia. They are putting in 6 groups, transportation, education, waste, water, energy, and climate change, and also setting and infrastructure. But as I said, we focus on Times Higher Education. The Times Higher Education Impact Ranking are the only global performance table that assess universities against the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. They use carefully calibrated indicators to provide comprehensive and balanced comparison across 4 broad areas: research, stewardship, outreach, and teaching. And also, as you see, we used 2024 data for this one, and we have more than 1,000 universities in this ranking, and we have all of the 17 SDGs, but we used only 2 SDG 12 in this presentation. As you see, the top universities driving sustainable consumption and production in 2024, most of them are from United Kingdom this year. And we used and we chose the best 3 the top 3 universities to discussing them. For example, in the first rank, we have 2 universities, Bournemouth University, also King's College London, and also University of Reading, all of them from United Kingdom. We will focus on these universities in next slides. Yes, Bournemouth University, what they did for this in getting and achieving this successfulity, they have these actions have helped them to be ranked first in the world for their contribution to SDG 12, responsible consumption and production, in the Times Higher Education Impact Ranking in 2024. First one is for construction waste. They do target 95% of waste recycled, which is a challenging target to encourage the maximum reuse and recycling in construction projects. Recent actions they are taking to reduce amount of waste produced include their work to reduce the sale of single-use plastics. First is by encouraging students to refill their waste bottles through their status as a refill campus with CT2C. They have 45 brightly colored water refill points across campus. Also, their innovative cup exchanging scheme, which reduces disposable coffee cup sales by offering a cup you can return to swap for a clean one or a taken for next time. Disposable cups incur a 30p surcharge. Also, the next university that was shared the first rank with the before university is King's College London University. I choose just these two, their last news from their sustainability website. These two news showing everything. The first one you see, empowering sustainability research, meet the winners of the 2024. It shows that they have some comparisons, something to getting some people as winner, and they encourage their staff and the students to doing these things in their campus. And also the next news, it shows the SGDP Labs received Sustainability Award 10 years running. It shows that they have some laboratories that they are doing something for sustainable development goals, and everything is shown here. Also, for University of Reading, the third rank university, as you see, headline targets set in the strategy of 2023-24 have been achieved. That these are to reduce total day-to-day operational waste products per person, full-time students and staff, for the 2018-19 level of around 51 kilogram, with around 43 generated per person in 2023-24. To increase the amount of items reused, remanufactured, and repaired from the 2018-19 level of 11 tons, with 28.6 tons processed in 2023-24. Also, to increase the university's annual recycling rate from operational waste by weight, including repair, reuse, and the other ones, above 60%, with the 2023-24 rate being 62%. Also, to reduce the amount of waste sent to landfill to less than 1%, with over 99% of university operational waste rated from landfill in 2023-24. These are what these universities do for these actions, and with these actions they took top 3 in SDG 12 in the Times Higher Education level. Also, from the last university, Reading University, I took this one from their website. They have a part like this in their sustainability website of the university. They have something, for example, let's reuse more, what I can recycle, and the other things. And when you're clicking, you can see something like this. It shows for you on your life, on campus, what you can do, and with some examples, it shows you what you can do, and it is very exciting for the people that want to see what they can do in their life for this SDG. Also, in the end of this chapter, I want to say, let's not waste. And for this one, I want to say something from B. Johnson. She said, refuse what you do not need, reduce what you do need, reuse what you consume, recycle what you cannot refuse, reduce, or reuse, and rot or compost the rest. Thank you so much for participating and for seeing my presentation. Thank you again, and see you in our next webinar. Thank you so much for your invitation too. Have a nice day. Thank you.
The honorable speakers, Professor Dr. Hüseyin Gökçekuş, Professor Dr. Vahid Nurani, Dr. Yusuf Kasım, Dr. Selin Deliceirmak, Dr. Kurthan Korutürk, and Mr. Farhat Bulari for speaking on this webinar. Also, I would like to thank the Faculty of Civil and Environmental Engineering and the Environmental Energy and Water Research Center, Union of Engineers and Architects of the Turkic World, and Gönyeli Alayköy Municipality as the organizer of this webinar. Energy and Water Research Center, Union of Engineers and Architects of the Turkic World, and Gönyeli Alayköy Municipality as the organizer of this webinar.
Study Box.